Okay, I believe we are. I believe we are ready.
Okay, thank you. So, yes, my name is Frederick Wang, not Frederick Chopin. Yeah, and this is the last talk for of the day. So it will be about MathML core in WebKit. Can you please move to the next slide? So MathML core is a fundamental subset of MathML3, which is intended to be well integrated into the web platform. It provides very precise layout rules based on tech and CSS, and it also aims for better interoperability. So it's already implemented in the 3 major engines, and it's covered by more than 3,000 web platform tests. But even if it's a subset of MathML3 in terms of attributes and elements, well, in order to achieve these 3 goals, you actually need to implement more stuff. So on this slide, you see a basic demo of MathML, which is well, it has some CSS colors and CSS animation. And yeah, actually there is a bug here because the CSS padding is not working, but it's because it's well, we are presenting with an old version of Safari. But yeah, so the idea is that in this talk I will focus on the interaction with CSS. Can you please move to the next slide? So yeah, so just to give some credits to people who have been involved in MathML recently. So currently the main effort is led by my colleague Eri. They are supported by the Sovereign Tech Agency. And some months ago, we had a coding experience student at Igalia who has also done some work. And finally, Hamad and myself are also helping where we can. Can you please move to the next slide? Yeah, okay. So the first thing we would like to work on is some new CSS features that were defined when we define the MathML core specification. So the first thing is what is really important for math is to use some dedicated math fonts. Otherwise, you can get very poor rendering. For example, you're missing stretchy glyph or this kind of thing. So in the past, Safari was just hard coding a list of known math fonts in the user agent style sheet. But yeah, now we would like to move to a more standard way of doing that. So just use the font family colon math in the user agent style sheet, and people can also use that property too elsewhere. And yeah, it's already shipped in Safari Tech Preview 227. Another feature that we implemented some years ago is what tech call display and inline style. So basically just a way to tell whether the mathematical formula should be rendered with more compact height or not. And another property that is kind of similar, but maybe it's a bit more subtle, is what tech calls cramped style. When we define it in CSS, we choose instead the name math shift. So basically, it tells how much we should raise the superscripts in some mathematical expressions. And this is going again to be shipped in Safari Tech Preview 227. And the last things that Ari is working on currently, well, there are 2 things. One thing is a very old bug, actually. It's related to font size adjustment for nested constructions. So here you have a continued fraction, and normally it should render with smaller font size the more you get deeper in the equation. So again, WebKit has some partial support for that, but well, it doesn't really work well with, for example, math type property, or it doesn't take into account some parameters from open type. It doesn't allow to be overridden by some user attributes. So yeah, we would like to rewrite this implementation and make it more complete using CSS properties. Airy already has some patches for that. And finally, I'm not sure we see the details on the slide here, but this is related to automatic math italic. So basically, the idea is that when in mathematical expression, the variable with only a single letter, they should be rendered with some specific italic character coming from some dedicated Unicode code block. And yeah, again, WebKit has some support for that in MathML, but it's basically overriding the paint method in the render classes, which is probably not really nice. So instead, we would like to, again, use a more CSS compatible approach. In that case, the natural way of doing that is text transform. Can you please move to the next slide? Okay, so these were for the new CSS properties, but there are also existing CSS properties and features that we need to make them work with MathML. So I already mentioned, for example, border padding, margin, width, and height. This was implemented in 2024 in Safari. Other properties that can cause some issues, or for example, float or position items inside mathematical expressions. In WebKit, we have some workaround because obviously, if we use this kind of properties, that can cause some issues, and we actually got some debug assertion failures, for example, in the past. So we had to fix that. But ideally, we would like to just follow what MathML course is specifying. Other CSS properties that can cause issues are writing mode and direction. Writing mode, we just want to basically disable it for now because we didn't really find a use case for that. Even so, there was some discussion about Japanese formulas, but it was not really clear whether we should support that for now. Another thing is direction. Direction, we have a concrete use case in some Arabic countries. They are using basically right to left mathematical expression. And again, WebKit has partial support for that, but it also has some bugs. So yeah, we would like to finish that and complete the implementation. Finally, we have this. This is something also that is similar to SVG. So in the past, MathML and SVG, I believe, with the specification, they define their own syntax for length attributes, which were based on CSS2, I believe. But now in MathML core, we just said, okay, MathML lengths are the same as length percentage. So this is not implemented yet in WebKit, but we already got some bug report that, for example, we are missing units. And this is something we would like to address too. Yeah, and then we have also, when we were working on the new CSS properties that I mentioned in the previous slide, we also noticed that actually the MathML core specification doesn't say anything about the fact that whether or not the CSS properties are animatable, but there are no strong reason for not being animatable. So that's also something that we would like to work on, and hopefully that shouldn't be too difficult, but yeah, we need to figure out how to do that. And yeah, probably there are more issues that can come with CSS, but at least this is a list of things that we would like to consider for this year and next year. Can you please do the next slide? So that was actually the last slide. So I don't know if there are questions. I think Ari is also here if you want to ask them some question.
Yes, I think we have time for maybe one or two questions. Any online? Okay, I think that is it. Thank you all so much. Give a round of applause.